Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited for today's video. Like, you don't even understand. If you're coming from my TikTok, you know that there is 3 different sides to me. There's a side that reads fluffy little romances. There's a side that reads pure and utter smut. And there is a side that's absolutely and utterly morally gray that reads dark romances through and through, and that is the side we're gonna be dipping into today. Because this right here is gonna be your guide to the dark romance world. I'm gonna guide you through it, and I'm gonna tell you what's good and what's not. First of all, before we even get into the books, there's one thing that you must know. Dark romance is not for everybody. If you're under 18, exit this video right the fuck now and don't even get into it. I'm serious. I'm gonna tell your mother. Or maybe save this video for your 18th birthday. But even then, you must understand that the point of dark romance is to make you question your own well-being. Meaning that when you are reading dark romance, it's not black or white, which is why everything is gray, okay? You don't know what's right, you don't know what's wrong, right is wrong, wrong is right, and that's how we live our life in the dark romance world. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the video. Now, first, if you're only starting to get into the dark romance and you're terrified of the whole thing, maybe dark romance isn't for you. But if you're looking for a place to start, I would say to start with a book that's not necessarily a dark romance, but it has a taboo in it, an age gap, cheating. Those are the only 2 I could think of. Anyway, I think a good place to start would be Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. It's not dark romance by any means. It just has a huge age gap. And I think if you can overlook that in this book, and if you enjoy this book despite the age gap, I feel like then you could start dipping into the dark romance. Also, if spicy books aren't for you, don't even try going into dark romance. You're gonna be shook, all right? Next, if you're still beginning, we're gonna go into this series. I actually only read 2 out of 4, but you get the gist. It is by Sarah Kate, and I read Praise and Eyes on Me. I don't know why I never read these 2, because these 2 were really good. I think I kind of just saved them for later. Okay, so the first book, I'm starting to remember this. This follows a guy that's like a boss and an assistant, and I'm not gonna say anything more. It gets pretty fucking crazy. And then this one follows his friend, and it's also like his stepsister. It's step. The key to this is step, okay? So I'll stop right there. Don't judge until you read, all right? Now that we're done with what I would call a beginner level of dark romance, we're gonna start off hard and strong with Hunting Adeline. This right here is like the mother of dark romance books, all right? It's actually the first dark romance book I have ever read, and I was fucking floored to the ground. The second one, Hunting Adeline, maybe read trigger warnings. I personally never read trigger warnings, and none of the books that I'm gonna mention here, I would like tell you, oh, go read trigger warnings, unless that's something you usually do. For this one, I would recommend you to read trigger warnings, because that shit, this might trigger some people. This was very graphic. Hunting Adeline, on the other hand, I think about this book weekly. It's been 2 years. There's honestly not many books that could live up to whatever the fuck happened here, and I loved every second of it. Next, we have the Maid series. Dare I say it, possibly my all-time favorite dark romance books. I gave every single one like 4.5 or 5 stars. This whole series was so fucking good. I ate this shit up and left absolutely 0 crumbs. If you've seen TikToks of me posting reaction to these books, you know I was screaming on the fucking floor for these. You have the first book, The Sweet Oblivion. The second one is The Maddest Obsession. And the last one is The Darkest Temptation. If I remember correctly, The Maddest Obsession was my favorite. You don't have to read these in order, but like you have to. They are an interconnected standalones, but if you are gonna read any of them, like you can't just start with the second one. You have to start at the beginning. I don't care what you say. You have to read them in order. It's not a must, but it kind of is. Next, we have the Never After series. Now, these are like Disney story retellings, and honestly, you're gonna be like, Yana, what the fuck? But to be honest, if nobody told me that these were like Disney story retellings, I would have never fucking guessed. I honestly still don't see it, but apparently they are. These are also a series of interconnected standalones. This is actually not their correct order. Please hold. Okay, so the order for these is Hooked, Scarred, Wretched, and Twisted. There is one more. I have it, but I'm not gonna read it because I looked in the back of it and it just doesn't sound like my cup of tea. I did read them in order, but I'm pretty sure if you want to read these out of order, I don't think it matters, because if I remember correctly, these are like pretty different. I don't even think it follows like a group of friends or anything like that. But I also could be fucking lying. It's been a while since I read them, but I remember that I loved them, okay? All right, now that we are well versed in the dark romance world, this is where I'm gonna introduce you to my dear friend, Rena Kent. This bitch right here. She is the goddess, the queen, the mother of dark romance, all right? The Legacy of God series is actually officially complete. The latest book just came out a couple days ago, and I only read 3 out of 6. I have not read The God of Ruin yet, and I have not read the latest 2. The reason for that is because I am savoring these books like fine wine, all right? Anytime I know that I'm gonna be in a book slump, I pick up one of these bad boys and it takes me right out of it. Elite. This is the elite dark romance right here. And I don't want to hear otherwise. They are just and once again, they are interconnected standalones, but you must read them in order. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Pretend like they're not interconnected standalones, because these have to be read in order. They follow a group of friends and it all makes sense from the beginning. You have to start at the beginning. Thank you. If you have read all of that and you're like, Yana, what's next? Devil's Night series. Yep, these are indeed worth the hype. Every single one of these bad boys was so good. And these are not interconnected standalones. You must read them in this order. You're gonna start with Corrupt and my boy Michael. Then you're gonna go to Hideaway with my boy Kai. Now Kill Switch with my man Damon. Oh my fucking god. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, Damon might be my favorite. It's so hard to choose between these fine specimen of men. Then you're gonna read this little fucker, Conclave. It's just like a tiny little novel. And then you're gonna read Nightfall with Will. And then there's another little novel I left on my shelf. And remember, this reading order is a must. It's not negotiable. Now, if none of those actually make you question your own well-being after reading them, you have a problem. But like same, these will. Oh, these will. Yep, 100,000% these will. Oh, fuck. We have the Ritual, the Sinner, and the Sacrifice. And this all follows kind of like the same. They're not like friends necessarily, but it follows a storyline, all right? So you kind of do have to read them in order. I'm pretty sure they might be advertised as they're connected standalones once again, but I don't believe in that shit. You have to read the Ritual, then the Sinner, then the Sacrifice. The Sacrifice might be the fucking craziest of them all, but so is the Sinner, and so is the Ritual, honestly. The Ritual, though, might be my favorite one. I might think about them daily. What does that say about me? Don't answer that. With all of that being said, I definitely don't recommend you start with these for your dark romance journey, because if you've never read a dark romance book before and this is the first shit that you pick up, good luck to you. Now, if you don't want to read series of dark romances, I do have a couple of standalones that are just chef's kiss, because nothing hits better than a quick little dark romance standalone book. We have a cult favorite, Does It Hurt? Honestly, I've read many books and I forget plots of books daily. I don't remember shit, all right? I remember the plot of this book and I read it a very, very long time ago. And this was really fucking good. Okay, this next one, I'm not really recommending it to you. I'm only recommending it to a specific audience here, all right? If you're looking for a book with 100% spice and zero plot, you're gonna wanna read Den of Vipers. And when I mean, I actually DNF'd it at 80% because I couldn't take it anymore. But if you're looking for just pure and utter smut, a female character that gives you an ick, this one's for you. Okay, honestly, I think that covers it. Like the things I would do to read those dark romance books for the first time, honestly, I'd give my left toe for that. Not even gonna lie. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're barely starting your dark romance journey, honestly, I'm a little bit jealous. I am, because nothing hits quite like a dark romance book. You can give me as much good spicy books, as much fluffy romance, as much cute books, fantasy, whatever the fuck you want. A dark romance is always gonna be just elite. And the girls that get it, and the girls that don't are not me. And with that being said, happy reading, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.